Assalamu alaikum, this is Saqib Shafi, and this is Abdullah Shafi, and these are my Ramadan Chronicles for 2011. Day, Abdullah, I'm holding you. Okay, how are we gonna do this? Ready? 26. For day 26, we're going to be talking about requests for dua. Before we get started, I'd like to ask for you to make dua for my son Abdullah. Inshallah, he will be having open heart surgery on September 1st, 2011, which will be 1 or 2 days after Eid of this year, Eid al-Fitr. He was born with a hole in his heart, and alhamdulillah, he's been doing fine for 10 months. As you can see, he's a normal little Gurdu guy. But he needs to have corrective surgery, and it's going to be open heart. They're going to go into his heart, patch up the hole, and take care of some other complications. So, as you can imagine, it's a little bit nerve-wracking as a parent, but alhamdulillah, we're getting through it. But we really do ask for your du'as, for your prayers, that everything goes smoothly, that the surgery is a success, the post-surgery, like the healing is a success, and that it's easy on us as parents. So I really appreciate if you can make dua for me. Now, the reason why I want to talk about dua requests happens to do with the fact that I put in a request for his dua at the masjid, or at the masala that I've been praying at, MIC Masjid, and the imam has been making dua during witr and stuff. But I remember the first time that I heard him make the dua for Abdullah. Right? Usually I pray 8, so I don't catch the witr dua and I go home. I happened to catch the khatam, our 25th night where we did the khatam of Quran, and we were there for the whole time. It was really short. It's only half of the 30th juz. And afterwards, the imam made a dua for the congregation, for forgiveness, getting close to the masjid, to Quran, accepting our fasts and our deeds and all this good stuff, alhamdulillah. But then he said, and it totally caught me off guard, he was starting to go into like some specifics, and he said, maybe he knows the dua. I don't know if my Arabic's correct, but I think he said something along the lines of, Allahumma sahil al-amaliyatul Abdullahi bin Thaqib. And my heart just completely like burst. It was the most emotional thing I've ever gone through in a very, very long time, because we put the request in, and here the imam went out of his way to make dua for Abdullah, and it was like a packed house for the small masala that was going on. Here's a picture. This picture doesn't really do justice. I had a bad angle. It sounded like I had like a wide angle lens. I only had my phone. And I know it looks kind of empty, but besides the fact that this is actually the beginning, the Isha prayer, and not a lot of people have showed up, I got there right during the beginning of the Jamara, and I just quickly took a picture before I jumped in. Besides the fact that later it got way more packed, this is the open foyer of the hall. Normally we have it in a room, right? If you see from a previous video I showed a picture of the room, and that gets, kind of packed as it is. Now, for this Khatam night, they had to move us out into the foyer, and we basically more than doubled our regular attendance. But mashallah, there's 50 plus men, and there was like 50, maybe 60 some women that were there. And usually our masala only has 50 people. Now there's like 110, 120. So alhamdulillah, it was really good. But the point is, for me, all those people were there saying Ameen to that dua. So it was really awesome. I was so happy that he made that dua. And he actually continued. He said something along the lines of, he said, Allahumma sahla al-amaliya. Then he said, Allahumma thabbit ahlahum, make his family strong. Wasabbir ahlahum, right, give them patience, so on and so forth. So I was really, really like, I was blown away that he remembered that. And afterwards, Abdullah, he's reminding me what to say. Afterwards, when I went to meet the imam, I said salam to him, like, I'm Abu Abdullah that you mentioned, and thanks so much for the dua. I saw he had like a note, and had my name written, like Abdullah, surgery, September 1st, son of Saqib, so on and so forth. So the emotion that I had, I was really happy, and I was hopeful that the dua is answered, but I was just so just moved that he remembered to make dua for me. So then it got me thinking. There's a lot of people that always ask us to make dua for them, and a lot of people that ask me, right? Whether it's in person, at the masjid, you hear something, there's an announcement after Jummah, on Facebook, people texting you for, exams, people passing away, so on and so forth. There's so many requests that come in, but the question I asked myself was, how many of those requests do I actually fulfill, right? And the reason why I'm thinking this is the amount of happiness I had when the imam made dua for me and my son. It was just incredible. I couldn't explain it. right? But that's only because I knew he made the dua. And it was public. It was like the khatam dua. It's during Ramadan. Could be one of the last 10 nights. Inshallah, it was. I hope it was. Um, I was able to like witness that dua come true. Now, usually when someone asks you to make dua for them, they're not gonna see that, right? It's kind of expected you got that like due diligence or just husn dhan. I guess you could say that they're going to do it for you. But I find that there's a lot of duas that I don't make for people. So the amount of happiness that I felt by having that dua made for me and my son, I started to think that what, I would love for the same feeling to happen for everybody. They're not gonna get it because they'll never really know whether or not I make dua for them, unless like I text them or I tell them, hey, I made dua for you from what you mentioned, right? And sometimes I like to do that, and people do that. Like, don't worry, whatever you ask for, it's in my duas, and we're making duas, so on and so forth. But the reflection I had is, if I had such an amazing, happy feeling that someone remembered me in their dua, I better make dua for the people who ask me now, right? And now I know, I'm thinking anytime I ask anybody, I think like, man, I really hope that person make dua. And when I told like like a masjid back home in Naperville and stuff to make that announcement after Jummah, I really hope they made that announcement. I really hope that people take my request seriously and they make dua for my son. Likewise, I should kind of do the opposite when people ask me. That if they ask me, I should take it seriously and make dua for them. And I have incentive. The Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, I believe it's reported in Sahih Muslim, that no believing slave will make dua for their brother or sister when they're not around, except that an angel will make the same dua for them. The angel will literally come and say, same for you. So if somebody asks me to make dua for them, right, I'll make dua for them, and yeah, they get something good, and like maybe I'll feel good inside because I'm being a good dua Samaritan or something. But an angel will come down and make the same dua for me. So I got all the incentives in the world now to do it, like, because now I know what it's like to have somebody make dua for you, and now on top of that, I like to pay back the favor, and on top of all of that, I get the same dua for myself as well. So this is like a reflection I had. Now that I know what it's like, I'm going to try to be better with my requests that come in for dua. I'd like to throw it out to you guys. This is a time of dua. It's Ramadan. It's the middle of the night. We're up. It's Laylatul Qadr. Even after the month passes, try your best to be serious with the dua requests. Maybe write them down. Start to make dua for people regularly. Like, even if they don't ask you, make dua for them. And inshallah, you're just hooking yourself up. So that's my reflection. That's my advice to myself. And I'm just throwing out to you guys as well. Let me know what you guys think. And inshallah, please remember us in your dua, inshallah. If you've ever benefited from any of these videos or anything, please remember me and my son Abdullah, inshallah, in your duas. And I would appreciate if you can please pray for him. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from his infinite mercy to have mercy on us. Inshallah, I'll talk to you guys later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Good job. Assalamu alaikum. Can you wave? Assalamu alaikum. Ugh.